So now we change scene. Now we are in the Goetheanum garden. This is the so-called glass house, the head of the seat of the natural science section and the agricultural section. And these trees here are actually very special because they come from the time of the first Goetheanum, and they were planted according to Steiner's indications. Quince, Meloncydonion, the apple from Cyprus, so to say, and Steiner had specific reasons why he planted certain trees in certain areas. But what is so special with the quince is that it has, so to say, these muscles. It looks like muscles, doesn't it? These different parts here. And you see the tree shows you what he wants to do. He wants to shed its extra skin. You know, like a serpent sheds the skin. Also, trees more or less, they like to give away the dead bark, and the quince shows you very clearly. Also, you see here where there have been cuts and they healed well. You see here, this was a properly done cut, and so from all sides it made this callus, it sets, it's wound healing. Also here the wound healing. At some point it will be totally closed. If we turn around, you see here they had a big branch that needed to be cut. They did it in the way that we talked about. This has the minimum diameter and it has a certain distance to the stem here, and it's very close to the stem here. Here, ideally, we would take away the dead material from the inside. Either the animals help you, the woodpecker, but also the bacteria, the insects, because in the moment you have a hollow space inside, it's actually something good again, because the stability of the tree doesn't come from the center, it comes from the outer part. Here, the living wood, that gives the stability. And when the fruit tree has reached a certain age, it's very natural for them to become hollow. It's how to say, it's a process that has some risk in it. So the processes here of decay, they shall be just inside. They shall not take over the other parts. So we can help as gardeners. We can take the dead stuff out, and then it can get dry again, and then the bees will come and the birds will come. It's a perfect multi-use then of the old tree. And actually there's even an esoteric part to it. The soul always needs encircling spaces. The soul always has an inner space. We know that we human beings, we need to be in a house. We cannot be out in open landscape day and night. Otherwise we lose ourselves, our soul. And animals that develop a special soul quality, they need also something around them, like the bees. That's why the bees are feeding us so wonderful with the honey. And the apple and the quince and the other fruit trees, when they have hollow spaces, it actually makes a special quality also to the fruit. Now I'm talking about quality, not quantity. I'm not saying that you get more apples necessarily, but the quality on a very subtle level of the formative forces of the life energy gets a special quality when you have hollow trees. So we like to take care of the old trees and allow them to grow really old. Now let's look at some of the other quince trees here. Here they protected it because sometimes there's sheep here. There's a lot of moss, it would be great to take that away. And here's one that even bent down. And we can be pretty sure that this is also mirrored in the root, that there's something with the root that wasn't stable. We have a bending soil here, and it's also moist because of this moist area behind. So very likely it was the root that was in imbalance, and then the tree collapsed to one side. Now, speaking of the roots, this is an important point for the pruning process, because when we prune the tree on top, the root will follow. When we cut a lot from the crown, then the tree will shed a lot of the root system below to keep the balance. When we prune the tree now in late winter, then the tree is not in its active state, it's not photosynthesizing, so it cannot really do anything with the roots. It's in its dormant state. That means that when we prune it now, the root is still very powerful, whereas the crown has been reduced. So what does that mean? That means that there's a lot of energy in the root, and it wants to come out, and it comes like a burst, like an explosion, and making lots of twigs and grow a lot. Maybe we want that. Maybe it's a tree where we want much more vegetative growth. Then it's great. If it is not the case, then maybe we want to consider pruning the tree not in the winter, but in the summer. Because if we prune it in the summer, then the tree has all the time in the world, and it has the blood, so to say, it has the photosynthesizing activity. So then it will very actively deal with what we are doing with the pruning. The tree will then reduce the root according to the shape that we've given to the crown. So not only will it reduce it, but it will also mirror the form that we've given to the crown. So we will have the perfect fit of the crown and of the root system. And that will kind of slow down the growing process of the tree. It will become, so to say, a more peaceful growth. And it will immediately be able to heal the wounds that we have to give to the tree when we prune. And healing the wounds means also that it is much more protected against the insects and whatever aggressors may come towards the tree. Here we see a branch hurting the other one. So here was a branch that wanted to go horizontal, more making buds for fruits. And here we have a vegetative shoot, really. It's shooting upward, and it'll take a little while until it will slowly bend. But when it does like this, we cannot tolerate that. It's going to hurt itself. So now we have to make a decision. Are we going to cut this one, or are we going to cut this one? But one of the two needs to go. Let's take this one in this case. And now we have two choices. The classical pruning shears are these ones. You see, this is not a normal scissors. It's not just doing this, but it's actually like a kitchen knife smoothly cutting this way. You see, it has an eccentric movement. And so instead of squeezing, it's actually cutting. These pruning shears are originally not for pruning trees, they are for wine, for grapes, or for roses. But through this special form, like a crescent moon, it's somewhat similar in the way it cuts. So let's see if it's kind of on the edge, but let's hope it's doing it without any stronger wound. Yes. So we have a nice cut here. For the pruning, we've seen that the key is a good balance between vegetative forces, making structure, making new twigs, branches, and generative forces, making blossoms and fruits. If we have only twigs going upward, then we never have blossoms and fruit. If we all go only in the horizontal and then bending down, then there's not enough vitality on the long run for the tree to support these fruits. So this is the balance that we're keeping. But it shows us that it's actually not the life force directly that makes the fruit. It's actually, so to say, against the life. It's taking away from the abundance of the life force when we make fruits. And this helps us also to understand the importance or the role of the mistletoe. Because the mistletoe is also taking away from the life forces of the tree. It is taking from the mineral water, so to say, in the tree, and thereby, parasiting on it to a certain degree, semi-parasiting. It has its own photosynthesis, so it's making its own leaves and everything. It's not taking from the sugar sap, but it's taking from the mineral water. And that's why we have to be careful with the mistletoe. If it is in a good balance with the tree, it's a gift for the tree. In older times, in the orchards, the farmers would plant actually the mistletoe on the trees to enhance the quality of the fruit. That knowledge has been lost on the way. Basically nobody does that anymore. But nowadays more the farmers or the orchard gardeners are cursing the mistletoe because they feel it's getting too much and it's taking the vitality of the tree. And yes, that can be. If you, for example, see the tree up there, the willow, it has a lot of mistletoe. Now some trees are able to tolerate a lot of mistletoe. The willow and the poplars can. If that were an apple tree, it would definitely be too much. Whereas, for example, here, you see there's a few of the mistletoe balls, and that's fine, that's in harmony. There's one mistletoe ball. It's fine, it's in harmony. Now behind us, towards the Goetheanum building, check here on the other side, here you see an apple tree that's not in balance. It's too much mistletoe, but the mistletoe here in this case is not the cause of the problem. The tree was dying. There's also some breakage in a storm, so big wounds which the tree wasn't able to heal. And now the mistletoe comes, so to say, to speed up the death process. So it's very important with the mistletoe to check when is it a helper in the death process or when is it actually a problem. Here in this case, I would leave it. In other cases, I would check, is it too much mistletoe? Then we take some of the mistletoe away. Not all, but some. Always keep this balance.